Hi, boys and girls. I am Mrs. Fodge, and I will be leading you through your lesson today. So today for math, we will be needing a whiteboard and an expo marker. And if you don't have a whiteboard and a dry erase marker, go ahead and grab a piece of paper and a pencil. We just need something to write with and something to write on. Our objective today, go ahead and read this with me. I can regroup and rename multi-digit whole numbers. So we're going to be working on looking at numbers flexibly today and thinking about different ways that we can represent them. I'm going to read our math problem, and as I read it, I want you thinking this first time about what is this problem about? There are about 18,500 known species of butterflies in the world. Show how you can regroup and rename the number 18,500 in 5 different ways. So what is this problem about? Well, it's about butterflies, and we have our image here that gives us a good clue. Different species of butterflies. It's also, like our objective says, about regrouping and renaming different numbers. I'm going to read it through one more time, and this time I want you thinking about what is it that I need to do to solve this problem. There are about 18,500 known species of butterflies in the world. Show how you can regroup and rename the number 18,500 in 5 different ways. So to solve our problem today, we need to represent this number here, 18,500, in 5 different ways. So let's take a closer look at some of the strategies and tools that we might use to represent this number, because this is a larger number. This is a 5-digit number. Which tools do you think could be the most strategic, meaning they will save us time and they're really the best one to use in this situation? So last week we learned that we can use standard form, but of course our number is already in standard form here. We can use word form, and we can use expanded form. We also could use base 10 blocks to represent this number. Can you think of any other strategies that we could use to show a greater number? And which one do you think would be the most strategic? Maybe using expanded form or word form? How can we break this number into smaller parts so that it's easier to work with? Well, that of course would be expanded form. So we can break it into smaller parts by using expanded form. Awesome. So I want you to go ahead and take 2 minutes to work on your problem. Pause the video and come back in 2 minutes when you're done working. All right. So hopefully you've come up with 5 different ways that you can represent this number. Let's take a look at some student work and we'll see if yours matches up with theirs. So looking at this student's example, they wrote, I can show 18,500 in different ways. So first we see a place value chart. Give me a thumbs up if you used a place value chart to represent this number. Awesome. So they broke it down into 10,000s, thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. That's an excellent way to represent a larger number. We can also see that here they wrote 185 hundreds. So that's a flexible way of thinking about this number. Instead of just going by the value of each digit, they said, well, if I use 185 hundreds blocks, then that could still create this exact same number. Below, we see word form, which we talked about. 18,500. That's a fabulous way to write this number. We see expanded form, and below they also wrote 1,850 tens. That's another way of thinking flexibly about this number. If we were to count by tens 1,850 times, we would still get this same number. It just would take us quite a while to do it. And finally, the student has a representation here with base 10 blocks. So we can see 18 thousands blocks and 5 hundreds blocks. So count with me by thousands. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, 11,000, 12,000, 13,000, 14,000, 15,000, 16,000, 17,000, 18,000, and count with me by hundreds. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Awesome. So they have shown another way here that you can represent this with base 10 blocks. Give me a thumbs up if you also use base 10 blocks. Very cool. And your model might look different because there are a number of ways that we could show this exact same number using base 10 block. Now, are there other ways to represent the number 18,500? Of course, there are so many different ways that we could do it. Is it possible to represent this number using only ones? Well, let's try using our base 10 blocks. Count with me by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my goodness. Now, it would certainly be possible to represent this number with ones, but as we're quickly realizing, it's going to take us a very long time to draw out enough ones to make the number 18,500. This is not the most strategic way that we can create this number. But we could definitely create this number using only ones. We should use a combination of numbers and words, just like the students in the previous examples did. So instead of drawing out each ones block, let's write it as 18,500 ones. It would be the same if we were to draw out every single block, but it would take us an incredibly long time to do so. So when you're choosing a strategy, make sure you're using one that's time efficient and is strategic. All right, guys, so your assignment for today is to complete pages 17 and 18 in your brand new student math workbooks that Ms. Mateos and I delivered to you on Friday. Then when you're finished, take a picture of those pages and post them to Seesaw so that we can review your work. Thank you for working with me today, guys. Have fun.